done that. Rock Against Racism. Eric Clapton, did I say more? Rock Against Racism started because of him. and his madness and mad racist nonsense he came out with in Birmingham. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hello, right back to the beginning. So, any more questions?
Just ask.
Yeah.
At the end of the film, did you all feel like you now? Did you realise you'd all now as an iconic film?
No, actually. I mean, you don't know as kids. We were young actors. It was my first major film. We didn't know. Phil was going to go on holiday to America, right? So he phones me up. This is maybe a month or two. He said, Frank's just phoned me up, Trev. He said they've done a rough cut of the film. Do I want to come and see it? Do you fancy coming? So I said, yeah, I'll come with you, of course. So me and Phil went down to the first rough cut with Frank. It was tightened up after that and watched it all the way through. And I swear to God, I was crying at the end. Because what happens to James Michael Cooper in that film is quite classical. I'm talking like a bloody nonsense Shakespearean actor, which I am now, by the way. But it was quite classical in what happens to him, you know, and how that whole thing, and Mr. Weller, you know, has got the song To Be Someone. That's what it's kind of about, this wanting to be someone, this thing, and then how you realise actually you're no one, and you see your hero, he's a bellboy. That's what Mr. Townshend wrote. And I always say whenever I do these kind of Q&As, that there are three people why that film is a cult and a wonderful, wonderful film. Pete Townshend, obviously. Frank Rodham, who made the film, and Philip Daniels, that 19-year-old, well, he's my best mate, that 19-year-old actor who puts in an unparalleled performance. Fantastic. So, any more questions? No. What do you?
Did you, after they all got arrested and he came back and everyone ignored him, and you were the only one who come up to him, did you feel sorry for him then?
What do you mean in the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting actually you asked me that question because I was only 20 and now I know how to analyse the script better. The part was put in at the last minute because of what happened with Mr. Townshend. But I, from the very first thought, is Ferdy a mod? Or is he just a guy who wants to be a part of the scene so he gets the pills? Is he really a drug dealer? I was trying to, what is he? But to your question, I think that the alienation that Jimmy feels then, Ferdy understands because he's been through it also. So there's something going on there. Although, ultimately, I wouldn't say that I'm so clever because I wasn't at 20. You know, ultimately, he still sort of is a little bit negative about his behaviour.
Was the film ad-libbed at all, or was it real stick to the
There's a little bit of ad-lib. I mean, I must say, sometimes I think I made a mistake. I actually stuck to my line, which I could have had a few more if I'd have ad-libbed more. But anyway, you know, some people ad-libbed, some people... Phil stuck very closely. I mean, for instance, there's the bit where he gets run over his scooter by the postman. Frank said to Phil, piss the postman, right? Yeah. I was standing with Phil and Frank, the director, came up and said, look, Phil, he said, like, the guy that's driving the van has to be a stuntman. He's not an actor, right? But I want him to be engaged and I want him to play the scene with you, right? So improvise a bit, draw him in, you know, so that he has to act with you. And that's what he does. You've got my scooter. Oh, no, you're all right, son. No, you're all right. And he draws this guy in because he's so feeling, and the guy forgets that he's acting. Well, he's a stuntman, but he forgets and he gets drawn into it. And so Frank asked Phil to do that specially. And there were other bits like that as well, you know. So Sting never had any lines in the film. And he improvised the one about signing the cheque in the court scene.
Oh, right.
You know, he came up with that and Frank kept it in.
Got his line,
Man, anything? You were going to say something? Any questions? Anyone? Yeah?
What drama school did you go to, Anna's?
The Anna Sher Children's Theatre. Phil and I met 50 years ago there in 1974.
Famous people come out here.
Yeah, lot of good actors, working class actors.
How did you get that education? Was it something you had to pay for, or was it like a
listen,
Saturday morning thing?
It's a Saturday morning thing. Well, it wasn't Saturday. It was, first of all, Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Mondays and Wednesdays. I was in the Tuesday and Thursday group. And on Fridays, the professionals. Once you became a professional actor, you got your card, you were doing stuff, you were in the Friday group called the professionals, right? So I turned up down there because of a girl actually called Bridget, who said to me, who I used to go to school with, and I was an apprentice electrical engineer, and I met her at college. At the college I was being an apprentice, I had to go one day a week. And she was there, she said, oh, we're doing a drama thing, you used to be good at drama at school, come down after. And I thought, well, I mean, I hate all this bloody pure maths and physics. I mean, I might have a laugh doing the drama again, and she was very nice. Yeah. So I went down, and we were improvising. I loved doing it. And she said, you know what? You should come to this place I go to. It's called Jenna Shirt Children's Theatre. I thought, oh. So the next Friday I went up. Now, I wasn't allowed to join in. It was a professional group, and and also I wasn't a member yet. But suddenly I remembered, wait a minute. There was a program. Remember that program, Magpie? Yeah. There was a whole thing about this drama club, and this is it. It was on Magpie. And I was thinking, oh God, I wish I could go there. And I was there. And Anna Shirt, because there was a waiting list, she talked to me and she was trying to get one or two young black faces in. And she said, you can come next Tuesday and Thursday. 50p a time it was. And 4 months later, I got my first job.
Wow.
Literally.
50p, wasn't it? Yeah.
4 years later, I was in Quadrophenia. You know, so. Yes, sir.
Right. You've been in lots of films, and you started with Ray Winstone. Have you got any more funny stories about him?
Raymondo?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, how long have you got? One of the greats, Ray Winstone. I'm a man. I tell you, we used to play charity football, right? This is a great story about Ray Winstone, right? We used to play charity football for the TV Entertainers 11, right? I got into it with Carl Howman, who I did this film Babylon with. Then I got Phil, and Ray came down. Ray used to play centre forward, and Ray's refrain through the whole game was, I want it at my feet! No, not over there, at my feet! Give it to me at my feet! Right, that was Raymondo. I played centre back as Daniel's a midfield player. And it got to the point, now, this is what it was like in the 80s. We were the youngsters brought in bit of legs. Davy Jones from the Monkees played on the wing, right? And he only played on the wing so he could chat up all the young girls. But so he played with 10 men, really. Because he was there. Jess Conrad, do you remember him, Sia? Yeah. He was the goalkeeper. Right? So we had all these old faces, plus those few kids who actually wanted to win. You know what I mean? We were taking it because we were in our 20s, right? So we were in Herefordshire somewhere one time, and we got fed up. Ray had got fed up with the fact that the older Jess Conrads were always picking up young girls, taking them in the coach, and we weren't in all that. We had our girlfriends, we were young, you know. So Ray started bringing his car, instead of going in the coach, he'd bring his car and drive behind the coach so he could leave early. And me and Phil would go with him in his car, he'd leave them to whatever they're up to, getting drunk. Anyway, one day we're in Herefordshire somewhere, I can't remember where, it might have been Hereford itself, and there was all these lads, tattoos, you know, everywhere, got their tattoos and all that, you know. And they were really upset because all the girls are falling over the people they've seen on telly. Really upset. So we get in Ray's car. Come on, lads, we're going now. We'll have a drink round my way. Said he was living in Enfield then, right? We'll have a drink round my way. Come on, get out of here. We drive back, and we're driving down a long driveway to get out of this social club. And all these Hereford guys, you know, they're really upset because we're all, you know, talking to the girls. As we've driven past, banged Ray's car. There's about 4 of them. Banged it on the car, and I'm sat in the front with Ray and Daniels in the back. Raymond gets out of the car, and this is how long ago it was, with the crook lock. Gets out of the car with the crook lock, and he goes, who was that banged on my car? Which one of you banged my Jag? Right? And then, you come up here, you think you can take out women, or was it, was it you, was it? Right? Ray starts swinging his crook lock about, and one of the guys looking at the crook lock, he chins him with the other hand. And he put 3 of them on the deck. And the other one ran away, of course, as they do. Right, and he goes, come on, you lot, let's go. Right, get back in the car. So I'm not having any fucking pikey banging the roof of my car. He's literally knocked 3 of them out. So that's Raymondo, but Raymondo is also Phil's Mrs. Jan, wonderful woman, died of cancer. You know, and Raymondo's in America doing a film, right? And we'll turn up to the funeral, Phil, his daughter, and so on. And Jan's gone, you know, she had pancreatic. And we see a limo driving down the cemetery. It's Raymondo. He gets out, he's got a driver. Phil runs over, he goes, Ray, you're in America? No, I told him, I said, I'm fucking taking compassionate. My mate's missus has died. I said, fucking hold the film. I'm going to win. I said, no, I'm going. It's my mate. And he flew all the way, Long Island. So he flew from New York State all the way for the funeral, came to the Duarters, we all had a chat and a hug. Drove out, got back on the plane, went back to America to continue the film. That's Raymondo.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? So, top man. So, and we always call him Raymondo Winstone there because now he's got his house in Sicily. He thinks he is the mafia, you know. Questiano.
Why did you keep the balloons under your trophy?
Because that's the last place the old Bill would think of looking. No, and funny enough, it was my idea. I said to Frank, I said, I'll keep them under me. I said, why do you want to do that? I said, because the police, when they search you, they won't think to look there. And he went, oh, well done, Trev, like it. We'll keep it in. Yes, ma'am. Did I? Yeah, I know. That someone gave me, it might have been Scott. No, they were blue Tic Tacs. It was a joke. They were not real. Someone gave me some blue Tic Tacs and said that. No. Questiano. Anyone? Any questions? Oh, wait a minute.
What did your mum think when you said that you wanted to be an actor?
I've now decided, but no, I can't even. Well, I'll tell you a story, a little story. My mother used to be a cleaner in the Regent Palace Hotel, down the bottom of Lower Regent Street it was. I don't even know if it's still there. She became the housekeeper, which was the head cleaner, by the time Quadrophenia came out, in the cinema, the Red White, opposite the hotel. Right, and there was that poster of us, 15 foot high, right? And my mother used to grab guests, anyone that come and see my son. Look, see him there? That's my son. You know what I mean? Well, thanks, man. We're just trying to check in. Well, you know. But anyway, that's the story I'll tell about that. What she actually said when I wanted to be an actor, I will not repeat because it was not pretty. Any more? But anyway, my dad loved it because he'd go up the market. But we saw your boy on the telly last night. Yes.
Sir, I've got one for you. Nick just told me to ask you this. When the lads come round looking for you before they go to Brighton and you won't in, and your nan screams out the door, out the window, you ain't in. You know this, right?
I was down in Brixton trying to get the good stuff. And I tell you what, I made a killing in Brighton. Anybody else?
Must be a lot of pressure for a sequel. Was there never ever one made?
Well, now, funny you say that. Martin Stellman, who I said who did the final draft and then wrote Babylon and Close Friends. He lives out in Tarifa in Spain. Bill Kirbishley, the Who's manager, and Pete have been trying to get a sequel made. They've abandoned it now because they just didn't know what to do with it. Several scripts or several treatments, like a short form of a script before you actually write the full script, were put together. Mr. Townshend was never happy, or someone else wasn't happy, or this, so it never got done. Martin, I saw him over there in Spain some time ago. He said, Bill has had me give me some money to be writing a script, and I've been trying to get it together for 6 months, and I just can't. We can't find the right story. Lots of people have done films influenced by it. People have written books. You know, there's a novel called To Be Someone, which is a sort of based or inspired by the film and so on. So there's lots, but they've never been able to find the right. And as I say, bizarrely enough, last week or 10 days ago, for the first time ever, I sat in my house and watched that film late at night on my own. Usually I'm in the cinema or doing some event. And I've never sat in my house on my own and just watched it. And it's very difficult to think how you could make a sequel. You know what I mean?
It's just such a classic, I think.
It's got a drive to it that's just wonderful, and it feels performance. Of course, we all know he ends the beginning, so he didn't actually kill himself. You know what I mean? So, you know, the drive of the thing, and it's just wonderful, really, I think, and good luck to him, you know.
It's a masterpiece, and I think,
I think so.
you could ruin it, couldn't you? There's so many sequels to films that just killed it to death.
Frank it was just a coming together.
Yeah.
Mr. Townshend wanted this gritty, realistic film because he didn't like what Ken Russell had done with Tommy. He saw this thing on TV, Dummy, like I was talking about, he got this young director, just 31 years old, who'd done that to do it, and found Daniels, and it happened. Do you know? But I always say my favourite films have always got great music. So we're already halfway there, haven't we? You know what I mean? Because the music came first anyway. You know. Anybody for any more? Ma'am?
Without ruining the Brighton culture, was the alley scene actually filmed in what is now called Quadrophenia Alley?
Yes.
Fantastic. Because it looks so different, I felt, in person to...
It was dressed up. We had an art department who did things to it, and I think it's been done up since. There's that clothes shop right on the corner there.
Yeah.
That cheeky chap, he had something to do. He just stuck it up there.
Oh, yeah.
But now the council have actually made it official.
And the other surprise is that it goes up round the corner, doesn't it, and it comes onto another road. In the film, you think it's a dead end.
Yeah, definitely. That's the actual place.
They always used to get rid of all the graffiti. They used to keep it completely anonymous until that guy opened that shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to call it Jimmy's Alley, and it was one of them sort of pulling techniques I used to have as a teenager, you know?
How did that
Show
work?
you Jimmy's Alley, darling, come with me.
So tell me, Simon, how did that work for you?
Failed miserably most times.
Any more for any more?
Okay then, so I think that's, you want to, I thought we've gone, yeah, for a quarter 6.
Not bad.
They're still awake, that's a good thing.
No, that's a good thing. Ask any questions you like. I mean, well, within reason, of course. Anything from Derbyshire?
They are things well over the corner.
Oh yeah, yes.
What's the difference between, obviously you've been in lots of stuff, but you've been in films with major actors like LeBron Obey and Quadrophenia. What's the difference yourself? Which, you know, what do you prefer more?
What, in terms of films?
Yeah, what's your favourite? What's your favourite piece of work?
Well, I mean, Love, Honour and Obey, just for the parties that we used to have on that film. I mean, it's a crazy film, but we had such a laugh making that film that you would not believe. I mean, unbelievable. So, I mean, we'd have to start all over again with the stories from that one, but I'm not even going to go there. Some of the stories of that film. I mean, I have to say, if I'm going to be honest, because probably it's my favourite film that I've made is that little film Babylon. It was made 1 year after Quadrophenia. It cost 1/10 of the, because it cost 300 grand, Quadrophenia cost 3 mil. And we never had enough money to finish it properly, but I don't know. Oh, I suppose I have got my major roles, 1 and 2, so in it, so that makes it, but you know, it's my personal favourite. I love Love, Honour and Obey because of the, you know, just the fun we had and hanging out, meeting all those guys from that, they call themselves Natural Nylon, that would be Jude and Johnny and, Shawnee Pertwee. It was those young actors coming in with us old actors from the old Anna's firm and all linking up together to make this mad film and just getting to know each other. And the other great figures, most of them, apart from Jude, who's a Spurs fan, all go over Stamford Bridge quite regularly, you know. Where Daniels and I have sat together from before we even did the film. We've been sitting together in Chelsea, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
How come you were Chelsea and I thought you were Arsenal?
Well, there's a story, you know. I always say when people ask me that, and they have asked me that, when I was a kid in Islington, right, the people that used to beat me up and take my dinner money were Arsenal fans.
Really?
Yeah.
The Suggsy, he's Chelsea as well.
Yeah, well, I saw him last Sunday in the game. I saw him last Sunday in the game.
I hope you did the money in a bit.
Yeah, will you? I ain't got no dinner money anymore, so there. Anyway, it was good old days. Any more for any more? We're nearly there. From my favourite track from the album. I think why should I care? Why should I care? Yeah, what a great tune. They're all great actually, someone just said that. It's a wonderful album. I mean, Pete Townshend said it told me, because luckily he speaks to you, I can't get on with him, you know. And he said to me, at that time, the band was nearly splitting up. They'd had so much hassle with Keith and Roger being telling everyone what to do and so on. He said he locked himself in his studio and he wrote that entire album himself, recorded it all himself on synths and guitar, sung it all, went to the band and said, right, this is it. This is what we're doing next. If you don't want to do it, F yous, I'm leaving, I'm going to do my own thing. Because Roger was the leader of that band. I don't know if anyone realises they were at school together. And John Entwistle said to him, Roger was the big bully in the school apparently. And John Entwistle knew him and he said, they were forming a band. He said, there's that weird little quiet kid he plays the guitar. His dad's actually a musician. He said, really? And he went up to Townsend and he said, oh, you, Townsend, you're in my band. Come on. And so he was the leader until the manager said, do you know what? The Beatles came along. The vogue now is to write your own songs. And they were on tour supporting Ray Davies, the Kinks. And he said, and the Kinks said, yeah, really got me now. And Townsend ripped it off and went, can't explain. It's a very similar beat. That was the first hit that he wrote. And then he became the main man because he wrote the songs. Roger never quite got over that.
Was the album made with the idea of making a film, or was that a later idea?
Later idea. Do you know, I did a radio play. Do you know the album Who's Next if you're a Who fan? Right? That was another story called The Lifehouse. You might have come across it. And The Lifehouse, you know that film with, what's it called? Neo, Joe?
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
The Lifehouse, Pete Townshend wrote The Matrix, thought it was about a guy with all the world's polluted and you have to be plugged into music and that's how you stay alive. Look it up, and everyone said to Pete Townshend in 1970 whatever, after Quadrophenia, now don't be ridiculous, this will never happen. There weren't computers, there were nothing. Pete Townshend so they released that music from that story as Who's Next. But I did a radio, they then did it as a radio play and got some of us from the film to do the radio play of it. It's the bloody Matrix, 40, 30 years before the Matrix. Wonderful, Pete Townshend again. So yeah, top man, and that's what he did. He wrote that album, double album, it had all the pictures in. But look at the pictures, what's all, as I say, what's all this about? But then he wanted it to be real. Apparently, because he was the only one that was a mod out there, Pete Townshend. Apparently a young mod did take his own life and he was so moved by it. That's why he sort of wrote that whole thing. A young mod who, high up, well, Pete Meaden, the very famous mod, same thing. But later on, took his own life. So Pete wrote that album sort of to try and get under the skin of what that's about. You want to be someone, you want to do something, you want to step, as Jimmy says, you don't just want to be one, some regular something, you want to be something extra, and so on. Any more?
What sort of props or memorabilia did you keep from the film?
I had my hat, the Ferdy's hat, I had it for ages, and a particular girlfriend of mine who I broke up with nicked it.
Story of our life.
But you know, a couple of years ago we did a thing, because Teenage Cancer Trust is the Who's chosen charity. We did a big thing, Pete, and got us all to go down to this restaurant, and Daniels actually still had his suit, the one he had made for Brighton, because he couldn't get it on one leg now, but he donated that suit to the auction that we did in some posh restaurant in Mayfair. I was sat with these people, and they put us all on a different table. Sting was there, a few of us were there, and I was on this table, and these women, oh, you sit with me, oh, ha ha ha, with me. I think, yeah, I thought there was all rich people here. So she says, yeah, she goes, but he goes, that's my husband, and that's my husband. He goes, I said, oh, well, what do they do? They're roofers. I said, oh, right, yeah. You know, it went on, I was with them all, sitting with them all night, and then we won the quiz, because I was the only one that knew that the Kirbishley that was in Quadrophenia was Paul Kirbishley, who was a footballer that was released by Norwich. So Bill gave him a little part in the film, and sort of, and they all thought it was Alan Kirbishley, the football, but his other brother, but no, it was the young nephew. Anyway, we were the only ones that got it, because it was a quiz, and we won. Sting was very upset, he wanted to win, but he didn't. Anyway, we're chatting away, and we won the quiz, and what was the prize? 2 bottles of Roger's champagne. He's got his own vineyard, by the way. He makes his own champagne. So we sat there talking away, and this lady goes, yeah, she goes, we've just bid for £10,000 for 2 tickets to see The Who in Madison Square Gardens, and we're going to get a VIP tour before we're going to be flown out, and it's all part of the thing. 10,000 quid, blimey. That's not, oh no, he goes, he owns the bloody firm, my husband. I mean, he employs 150 roofers. I'm like, oh, he's not a roofer, he owns the roof. He used to be a roofer. So, but point being, we raised 100 grand, over 100 grand that night for Teenage Cancer Trust. Pete Townshend outbid everyone to buy Phil's suit from the film. He paid 10 grand for it. And, you know, it was a very happy night spent, and Sting got drunk and fell over. Which was very funny. And Trudy, his wife, had to carry him out, you know. So that was a good night. Anyway, yeah, that's just another memory of me. You've had enough of me now, haven't you?
No.
Oh, go on then.
What can you tell us about the connection between Paul Daniels and Blur? How did that become
Paul Daniels and Blur.
Phil Daniels.
yeah.
Well, now, Phil and I used to play football for the NME, the New Musical Express, in the Music Company Football League on a Sunday. It was great fun, all different teams. And one week we were playing against a team called Go Discs, right, we're a record company, and their left back, his name's Ferdy. So people were saying, Ferdy, it was like weird. Anyway, in the shower afterwards, you don't need to imagine that. We were all talking, and this guy Ferdy come over, and he goes, yeah man, I mean, my name really is Ferdy, you're Ferdy in the film. And I said, yeah, you go. Anyway, Steve Sutherland, who's the editor of NME at that time, who was our manager, he said, yeah, Ferdy, he's working with this band, you know, this young band called Blur. This was like 1991 or so. He said, no, 92 it was, because we won the double that year. And he said, he loves your film. Phil says Ferdy. He said, oh, which one? Quadrophenia? No, the one you did with Mike Lee, Meantime. That's Damon's favourite film, man. Not Quadrophenia. So, all right, we're in the shower, and he goes, Ferdy goes, yeah, he'd love to meet you. He'd love you to sing a song. I said, really? Phil said, yeah, well, I introduced me to him. Anyway, it all got sorted. He went up there, they were doing Part Live. Damon was trying to do it himself, and he couldn't quite get it right. They had another song that they wanted Phil to do. But Phil said, no. He got it as a voiceover man. No, listen. Let me do the rap bit on it, and they tried it out, and it worked, and that became Part Life, and, you know. But yeah, it was all through Meantime and football, NME. And as I say, we won the double in '92, League and Cup. Me and Phil were the engine room. I was ball winner, and he's creative. You know. Anyway, it was anything else? Near. You're trying to figure another one, aren't you? Anyway, it's been a great pleasure as always to be around mods. You know, it's been a great privilege for me. And I know Phil would say that now. Can you imagine being a 19-year-old kid and the only thing you're remembered for is that film you did then? So it took him some time to come round to it, but now he's 66 in 2 months' time, he's come round to it. You know what I mean? And it's been a great privilege to me, and I know he'd say the same, and tomorrow if you come up to the old Stein to see us, he will say the same. That, you know, that to me, you know, mods and just a real down-to-earth people, real working people, people who are grafters. That's why the mod movement keeps on going and going, because people keep it going. Hard-working people who want to keep it going. You and other people. So it's been a great privilege to be able to come out and meet you guys, you know, and always hang about. And if anyone's interested, the Widnes Scooter Club, one of the best scooter clubs, and they've got their own. We're doing a thing for them on the 16th of November up there, what we've done several, but the way they do it, it's like a big gig. We don't go on stage like this, we just hang around with everyone and have selfies and talk. So there's 6 of us that are going to be there on that, and it's on the 16th of November. I thought I'd throw a plug in for that. They'll thank me, no doubt. You know, so, you know, week and a half after bonfire night, isn't it? But, you know, so if you're about and you can get the scooter can get you that. That's another story. I thought mods were finished until that first day of filming. We're all down there and suddenly we heard this roar and we turned around. About 200 scooters. These guys have ridden all the way down to Brighton from the north to be the extras in the film. Mod was still going on up north in 78, which I didn't, obviously came round again a lot after the film came. But these guys, you know, Ginge and all, I still speak to them. And now I've spoken to them, I had them at a do that I did, and they told me their stories, which we didn't know. These guys were in the film, they were sleeping on the beach so they could be in the film, they couldn't afford to get a guest house. When we were in London, they all came to London because they were still wanted. They said, what we used to do, we'd ride out, because it was West London, of course, we're The Who, we'd ride out to Heathrow Airport, sleep in the airport, and then come back for filming the next day. You know, so these guys need a hail up as well. All the guys from York and Barnsley and all the way up north that drove on their scooters all the way here.
How did they hear about the film?
Because they got in contact with it.
Oh, what they did? The
filmmakers. The filmmakers found where these scooter clubs were still up north and invited them to be in it.
Yeah, there's no internet then, obviously, was it?
Fantastic. They were still going on in Barnsley Scooter Club, York. All these guys were in the northwest.
Yeah.
Preston.
Still big up
They're
there
still
now,
massive now, you know. So, you know, good luck. Chesterfield, the Sheffield Aces. You know, some of them are here, you know, so, yeah, great. Thank you all.
Right, big hand then for Trevor.
Go on, bro.
As a new enthusiast, why was Brighton chose as a location rather than Southend, Margate, Clacton?
Because in 1964, what happened in Brighton hit the news in a big way. It was Clacton. They had fracas all over, and as Simon said, actually, which I didn't know, actually the fracas was between the rival groups of mods, perhaps. But it was so written up in the Evening News and Standard. It was the one that really exploded all over the country was what happened in Brighton. But it happened in Skegness, it happened in Clacton. Clacton was a big one, and that was before. So I don't know. Frank, in his office when we were doing the film, he had all the old newspaper clippings on the wall from 1964 because he tried to recreate some of those pictures in the scene. You know, like say with the deck chair and all those. All these pictures were in the Evening Standard, Evening News. You know, youth go mad in Brighton. You know, and all that sort of thing.
I think a lot of it was down to like Fleet Street because, you know, later on, you know, with the punk era, the skinhead era, all that, it was the stuff that was near to London, near to Fleet Street. So like if there was stuff going on up in northwest England, it's not even in the news. Then they went, oh, where's near? And Brighton obviously is a near trip. So it could well have just been that really. They got more reporting than anywhere else. You know, I don't know.
Anyway, I'm going to go and have a lie down now.
Anyway, brilliant. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank everybody for coming. And now we've got our man Symond going to come on the decks.